Welcome to WRCP Radio Theater, where everything old is new again and vice versa. Tonight's production, Mousetrap A Love Story.
You all right, Mr. Bristel?
Yes, just a shock.
You never met her before today?
Only once, at my last seminar. She was the only one with the first edition of Brouhaha. Have you ever read that?
Afraid not, Mr. Bristel. Not much of a mystery fan.
Ironic thing for a detective to say.
Yeah. And why was she here? Was she a writer too?
Oh, Lord, no. Not a fanciful bone in her body. Yet, I'd been needing to hire a secretary of sorts.
Of sorts.
Someone to be able to sort through my work without injecting unwanted opinion.
So she was here for a professional association.
Undoubtedly.
Was she at all upset? Mention anything about recent trauma?
Well, I'm the one with the recent trauma, sir. A young woman just died in my house.
Damn odd thing. 26-year-old girl, dropping dead from a coronary.
Will that be all, Detective? I'm rather taxed from the experience, you realize.
Mr. Bristel, something the matter over there?
No, nothing at all. Just a mouse. Just a wretched, vile mouse.
Only hours previous, Raymond was engrossed in the contemplation of his past, his present, and the overall dubiousness of his future, as the mouse watched, as he always did, from the shadows.
And thus, the late, great Raymond Bristel sat at his imported mahogany desk, drinking scotch before 10 a.m., his stoic expression locked on his long-ago fame framed on his walls, the way they would find his mummified remains. May I rest in peace. Until, of course, my resurrection. To think of it as such is wildly optimistic. Yet, I have a feeling about this des affairs. Actually, I do. I am unclear as to why that would... Aha! Thought you could get away with it, didn't you? You were slipping in your old age, you son of a vermin. I have you now. It's over. Do you see? Can you hear? You are done, sir. Done! Might you have any last requests before I crush your wretched little skull? Blindfold? Cigarette? A fitting end to you, Monsieur Sworry. Hickory, dickory, dock. The mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 1. The mouse ran down. Hickory, dickory, dock. Bah! Next time your luck runs out. Next time, not such a lucky mouse.
Mr. Bristel?
Lidia Tromwell, I presume.
Yes, sir. I am Lydia Tromwell, that's me. And I am so excruciatingly pleased and honored beyond all capacities for this unbelievable opportunity.
Won't you please come in?
Thank you, Mr. Bristel. Oh my gosh! Your home is just extraordinary, and you framed your posters so tastefully and so largely. My sister's keeper! Autumn and winter! Me, myself, and I!
Yes, I'm painfully familiar with...
Brouhaha! Oh, Mr. Bristel, that book, in my most humble opinion, was the finest work of your career.
And the final one.
Oh, no, Mr. Bristel. Don't say such things. You've been experiencing a dry spell, that's all.
For 10 long years.
Mr. Bristel, you were and still are the greatest literary mind of our time. To think that one man gave creative birth to such acclaimed and respected texts. Well, it should come as no surprise that such a mind would need a vacation.
So you think it's a good thing the genius in me went on holiday before becoming another artistic statistic, such as Allan Poe's sanity, Mozart's financial ruin, Van Gogh's ear?
Unless you'd prefer I think of it another way.
Not at all, Miss Tromwell. I believe you may be just what the author ordered.
Thank you, Mr. Bristel.
Of course. Now allow me to show you my desk, yes? My empire, where the magic happens.
Thank you again, Mr. Bristel. This is such a... Oh my.
Yes, I realize. Please do forgive the clutter. Of course, that is why you are here.
It's not. It's the mouse traps.
Oh, those, yes. Terribly tacky, I admit. However, I've been having a spot of trouble with mice.
They're so cruel, so barbaric, so unkind. An innocent creature, a soul-possessing being wanting no more than a chance at survival, wanders by one of those and... snap!
This won't affect your abilities to perform the job requirements, will it?
Defenseless, vulnerable cranium, cracked open like a sledgehammer to a pea.
I'm sorry you feel that way, my dear, but I possess a rather acute disdain for mice. And rats. Dogs, cats, cows.
Fish?
Fish, birds, reptiles, insects.
I like fish.
Lydia, perchance this isn't the proper environment for you to be...
No, Mr. Bristel. It's just that I'm a victim to my own emotions. My only true friends have always been animals. But please, don't let my vegetarianism sway your yet concluded opinion of me. Look.
God, what is all this?
My papers, portfolios. Oh, so sorry. They're falling all over your floor. I'll clean those up, I will.
Miss Tromwell, you...
I'm much more tidy than this, Mr. Bristel. I'm just in a bit of a fluster, but if you will, see... I've categorized your notes for the last 19 years, 6 months and 47 days by color-coded organization and subjoined via the Dewey Decimal System. Also included are interactive CD-ROMs for all categories in alphabetical order.
Table of contents, too.
Yes, sir.
Well, Lydia, despite our discrepancies on animal activism, I am moved enough to give it a go.
Oh, you won't regret this, Mr. Bristel?
Raymond would be quite acceptable.
Raymond? Me, Lidia Tromwell, may call you Raymond Bristel. Raymond?
If it's not too much of a strain. Now, let's pick up this plethora of written materials, shall we? You've so much here. Binders, manila folders, and... Now this is an interesting item. What do we have here? A very thick manuscript, it appears. Golden, embossed calligraphy for the title. Bound in rich black leather.
Faux leather. Oh, Raymond, I'm not ready for you to see that yet, as it's
The
not...
title, which reads The Pladsky Murders. The Pladsky Murders, Miss Tromwell?
Raymond?
What are the Pladsky Murders doing here in my hands? Appearing not unlike a final draft?
I can explain.
Please, by all means.
It occurred to me, sir, as I was working in the most diligent and time-effective fashion, cataloging, reading, digesting every scrap of a notion you've had since the publication of your last novel, that the Pladsky Murders possesses the indisputable potential, no, the absolute certainty of surpassing the second-to-none intellect and international praise Brouhaha was honored with so many years ago. Being that as the inarguable case, and relying only upon my creative, literary instincts, which you, Mr. Bristel, are solely and gratefully responsible for bestowing in me, I would, at this time, be permitted to present to you my most humble offering, a reverent attempt, if you will, a modest, suggested conclusion for the Pladsky Murders, the one, the only Raymond Bristel novel ever not to reach the bestseller list.
You completed my book.
It is only a quasi-conclusion, Mr. Bristel, yet bound in a handsome, engraved, custom-crafted design.
Sort of like a present.
Exactly.
And how am I, the great Raymond Bristel, expected to react to this grand gesture of plagiarism? The Pladsky Murders, otherwise known as the springboard to my literary demise. Should I say thank you?
It really isn't necessary. I was
When I could think of no feasible way for Pladsky to get away with it, I knew the great imagination of Raymond Bristel, whose antiquated homage you see displayed before you, was dead.
I could brew some tea while you read it.
The great Lidia Tromwell presents, eh?
She begs, Raymond, for your revival.
2 sugars, a dash of cream. You'll find the kitchen down the corridor on the left.
Right away, Mr. Bristel. Raymond.
Be careful what you wish for, Miss Tromwell. Very careful.
We will return to Mousetrap, A Love Story, after this brief word from our sponsor, Norbert's Cheese Boutique. Gouda, Manchego, Parmesan, and Camembert. Norbert's is the epicenter of everything cheese, be it derived from cow, goat, buffalo, or sheep. Norbert's Cheese Boutique provides both amateur and professional culinarians the perfect pairing for any tasting events. Give us a nibble today. Free valet parking provided in the alley. Norbert's, no matter how you slice it. We now return to our story. Raymond has arrived at the conclusion of the Pladsky Murders, whilst Lydia prepares a dandy-do service of tea for one.
Lydia, put the kettle on. Lydia, put the kettle on. Lydia, put the kettle on. We'll all have tea. Oh, Lydia turns the burner on. Lydia turns the burner on. Lydia looks for a service tray as Raymond reads. Raymond wants a dash of cream. Raymond wants a dash of cream. Where's that creamer thing? Oh, my goodness sakes. Why, hello there, sweetie face. Aren't you just the cutest little thing? Come here, cutesy tootsie. Oh, come on now. Yes, there you go. Just right here. On my hand. There we are. Yes, there we are. Oh, you're just so warm and soft and fuzzy. Oh, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Lydia's here. I bet you'd like some cheese, wouldn't you, sweetie beady facey wacy? Oh, let's go find some cheese. Here we go to find some cheese. Here we go to find some cheese. Here we go to find some cheese.
She did it. The little misbegotten wench. It's brilliant. It's untraceable. And it's not the goddamn butler. Lydia, how's that tea coming along?
Straight away, Mr. Bristel. Do you like the cheese, Mr. Mouse? It sure looks like you do. Yum, 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 yums. Oh, now I'm sure he reserves the brie for company, but I'm company, and he didn't offer me any. So what should have been mine in the first place, I'm giving to you. Does that sound nice?
Lydia, becoming rather parched, my dear.
Coming, Mr. Bristel. Now, I have to go to work, but I'll see you around, okay? Just be sure to stay away from those awful traps, okie dokie wokey. Here's a kiss. Oh, I love you too. Oh, kiss, kiss, kiss. You be good now. Be safe. Be good. Here's your tea, Mr. Bristel. Cream and 2 sugars.
Thank you, Lidia Tromwell. Lidia Tromwell, a name synonymous with obscurity, appears one day at the doorstep of Raymond Bristel, claiming to have discovered how to lift the shroud over his dead mind, which, in fact, turns out to be the case.
Mr. Bristel, do you mean it? I am...
Brilliant. Oh. And to think that someone such as yourself would be the savior to someone like me.
Savior? Oh, Mr. Bristel, my heart is racing, just racing its way out of my chest. Deep breaths, deep breaths, deep.
Now. Before you pass on into a cardiac abyss from which I'm afraid you will not mend, a dose of realism must be injected.
Inject! Please, inject!
Your pages, as stated, are fraught with intelligence. Yet, your amateur's pen doth rear its ugly ball-pointed head. As such, I have 2 inquiries to pose on behalf of the diabolical Mr. Pladsky. First, his untraceable homicide, my dear. How does he do it?
By how do you mean, how is it possible?
Exactly.
Well, the venom from the diamond-striped Ligawa literally freezes its victim's heart. Death is instant, and for all forensic purposes, is equivalent to a major coronary.
Clogs the arteries, does it?
A family history of cardiac disease further promotes the medical conclusion also.
That explains why you had Madame Platsky pass on in such a manner. Question number 2.
Shall I take notes, Raymond?
No, darling. These are all spontaneous, off the top of your congenial little head responses. Question number 2 pertains to your diamond-striped lagawoo.
Litagawa?
Where did you come up with such fantasy?
Oh, it's no fantasy, Raymond. It's a spider. Indigenous only to the South American rainforests. They're still unrecognized by arachnologist societies even as we speak.
Too far-fetched.
No, Raymond, it's genuine. Did you know that we lose 50 acres of tropical rainforest every 3 seconds?
My tears are welling, but what does...
Species are destroyed before they're ever discovered. My mother, God rest her sweet, sweet soul, had taken me on a vacation to Colombia to celebrate a Greenpeace raid and victory over the devil's own army.
Lumberjacks?
Murderers! It was there that my mother met her most ironic demise as the 2 Needle-thin, transparent fangs of the Litigawa sunk into the unsuspecting pink flesh of her Achilles, pumping deadly toxins into her body, searing her blood into wax, freezing her arteries shut, and dropping her like a bag of lead potatoes.
Dear God, how effective.
As you may expect, the doctors believed she had died of a heart attack. My mother! My high in fiber, low in saturated fat, 6 servings of whole grain bread a day mother! This could not be, I shouted, and buried myself in years of field research there in the jungles that claimed my only kin's life.
Only kin, you say?
I deduced the chemical structure of the Litigawa's venom to the apparent cause of my mother's death. I have my findings right here. They were right here. Raymond, you know how organized I am. A tidy report entitled Litigawa Study by Lidia Tromwell. Where is it? Oh.
You haven't mentioned this study to anyone, have you?
Of course not. I am Lidia Tromwell, a name synonymous with obscurity. No one would listen to me.
A shame, Lydia. If only you had proof.
I do, Raymond. Yes, of course. Why didn't I think of this before? Right here in my satchel. My satchel is made entirely of hemp, Raymond. Isn't that noble? He's right inside.
He?
This is Edward, Raymond. In his special little mason jar habitat. I even labeled it, see, so he feels special. It says, "Hello, my name is Edward. I belong to Lidia Tromwell."
Oh, dear, sweet Lord.
Edward's something, isn't he? Oh, yes, he is. Yes, he is. With his little green exoskeleton accentuated by pretty red diamond patterns. It's like Argyle, don't you think? And the way his needle-thin, envenomed fangs protrude from his jagged mandible.
Is he drooling?
Why, yes, venom. He really has an abundance of it. But you don't have anything to be afraid of, Raymond. The Litigawa only attacks females. Raymond? Raymond, are you all right?
I'm entertaining a slight inkling, Lydia. Do give me a moment.
Would you like to hold him?
No, I beseech you, no. For as much as I am indebted to Sir Edward, his appearance is a bit too much for me. Would you mind if he listens from here, just underneath my desk?
Well, it's not my vista of choice for him, but you are the king of this particular castle.
Thank you. There you go, Edward. Now, down to business. Have a seat, Lydia. Just there, across from me and Edward.
Thank you, Raymond.
Would you want a spot of tea, my dear?
Of course I would, but I only set out a service for one.
Well, then, by all means, please, fetch yourself a cup, won't you?
Okie dokie, Mr. Bristel.
All right, Edward, here you go. You only bite females, remember? Of course, if you'd like to expand your palate to include mice as well, then you indeed have my permission. That's a good Litigawa. There's a good spider. You keep your eyes on a pair of Birkenstocks that should be padding just before you in a teensy-weensy minute.
I brought the water for it, Raymond. Is that all right?
That is okie dokie, Lydia. Have your seat right there.
It's a damn strange thing, Mr. Bristel.
Yes, indeed. Pity. She mentioned her mother died the same way. Hereditary, I expect.
She didn't bring any personal effects with her?
No, not a thing. Good day, Detective.
Good day. You have my number if... What was that?
Just a trap, Detective. You know of my trouble with mice.
Let me check. Oh, looks like you don't have any trouble with this one anymore. Interesting. Snapped his neck like a walnut.
You don't say.
But what's really interesting is this document. Hard to see through the blood, but it sure looks like it says Litigawa's Study by Lidia Tromwell. Kinda conflicts with your statement that she didn't bring any personal effects with her. Personal effects like this jar.
Detective,
Hello, my name is Edward. I belong to Lidia Tromwell. Yeah, that's interesting too. We're gonna have to ask you a few more questions, Mr. Bristel.
Mousetrap, A Love Story, was written by Stacey Tanner and starred Jared Wood as Raymond Bristel, Christine Marie Gilreath as Lidia Tromwell, and Alex Kenneth as Detective Guthrie. We at WRCP thank you for listening and hope you'll tune in again next time.